Hey, it's Jamie with Only Dodge Garage. I'm here with another video. I just want to say thank you to everybody for the amazingly overwhelming, the amount of subscribers that I got in the past couple weeks. I wasn't expecting it. So I really appreciate everybody. I love all y'all, and I'm so glad for the support, and I'm glad that y'all like, subscribe, and watch my videos. Now, y'all got me from my last video again. So I'm going to do a massive, I did so much learning the past couple days. I'm going to do a massive 400 video for my 400 plus subscribers. So I'm not only going to learn about I learned about the 400, but I also learned about the 413, the 426, and my favorite, because that guy right there, the 440. So stay tuned. I think I'm just gonna clean up Lonnie, do a little stuff, maybe go get some gas. Y'all can just hang out, and while I just jabber away about stuff that I learned about these engines. So stay tuned. Alright, well now I get to start yabbering about all these engines that I have been learning about. So I want to start off with the 400. So the 400, it was introduced in 1962, and it was a part of the B block engine family to Chrysler. It was created to replace the 383. So Chrysler increased the bore size of the 383 to make it a 400. The bore was, I believe, 4.34, which was the largest used production at the time. The largest used in production at the time. All of the parts were interchangeable with the 383. Except, of course, the pistons, and the crankshafts were made of cast iron. There were 3 versions of the 400 that you can get. First one would be like a 2-barrel single exhaust, and that one made 170 horsepower. The second would be a 4-barrel single exhaust, and that made 205 horsepower. And the third would be a 4-barrel dual exhaust, which is their high performance, which made 260 horsepower. The 400 was used in cars, trucks, and motorhomes. The last year of the 400 was 1978, and of course, because of emissions, it only produced 190 horsepower. So the next one we're going to talk about is going to be the 413. I think I have a lot of information about this one. I had to write stuff down. There's so much. So the 413, it was 1959 to 1965 in cars, and then used from 1959 until 1979 in the medium and heavy duty trucks, including a big old guy known as the C1000. So this is just a random fact that I learned. The C, NC, PC, and Fargo LCF replaced the Dodge COE of the 50s. So LCF, I said, it was like, what does that mean? So LCF stands for Low Cab Forward. Didn't know that. Okay, so back to the 413. It was available in the New Yorkers, the Polaris, the Monacos, and the Furies. As they use it as like an alternative to the B block 383 and the A block 318. Also learned that the 413 was also used in a French Grand Touring car known as a Facel Vega. So that's a pretty beautiful car. If you look up the Facel Vega, it's Facelvega. It was an only 2-year car from 1962 to 1964. So it's actually a really pretty car. Let's see, in 1962, they introduced a new high-performance version of the 413 RB block named the Maximum Performance Wedge, or, Max Wedge 413. It was only an option for Dodges and Plymouths at that time. It was created because Chrysler wanted to put their toes in the water in the NHRA, with stock racing. The engines were street legal, but they were made. They really were made for racing. So the first year of the Max Wedge produced a crazy 410 horsepower. And there was another version that you can get. It produced 420 horsepower. Dodge called its 413 the Ram Charger 413, which I'm sure we've all seen those awesome older race cars. And Plymouth called its 413 the Super Stock 413. 1964 was the final year of the Max Wedge option, and unfortunately, it hasn't really reached the same magnitude or the desirability as the other compared engines. So the next one we're going to talk about will be the 426 Hemi V8, nicknamed the Elephant Engine. It was produced from 1964 to 1971. It was produced for use in NASCAR in vehicles such as the Belvedere, driven by drivers just like Richard Petty. In 64, it wasn't offered to the public, and so in 1965, so it was mainly just used in NASCAR. In 1965, they were saying that Ford was complaining, so they actually caused the race Hemi to be banned. Ain't that something? So in 1966, the street Hemi was introduced, and the 426 Hemi and 426 Wedge were different in many ways. 426 Wedge was an RB block, a 7-liter. It served as Chrysler's main performance engine until the 426 Hemi was born. So the 426 Wedge replaced the 413 Max Wedge in 1963. It was available in more production vehicles than the Hemi version was. So I thought that was pretty interesting about the 426. Now I really want to talk about my favorite, which my 1989 W100. It originally had a 318. I just fell in love with the 440 and everything about it. I actually ended up finding one out of a 78 motorhome. I'm going to add some pictures of the goat and the engine and everything here. Hang on one second. Yep, that's the picture of the engine. And then there's me and my son working on it. That's what it looks like in the engine bay. But yeah, the 440 is my favorite. It was produced from 1965 to 1978 and was part of the Chrysler's RB family. So RB means raised deck block. The 440 is the last of the RB family, and unfortunately, it has a cast iron block and iron heads and a bore of 4.32. From 1967 to 1971, the high performance version had about 375 horsepower with a single 4-barrel carburetor. And from 1969 to 1971, the highest output version was known as a 6-pack. We all know a good old 6-pack when we see one. It has, of course, it has the 3 2-barrel Holley carburetors, and it produced about 390 horsepower. In 1972, changes were made, and emissions started messing up the horsepower ratings, of course. Emissions were pushing for a cleaner exhaust, so that kind of started the downfall of the 440. From 72 to 74, they produced a high output 440 with a 4-barrel mild cam and dual exhaust. Dodge called it the Magnum. Plymouth had their own name, and they called it the Super Commando. And Chrysler had its own name for it, and they called it the TNT. It made 280 horsepower, but dropped in horsepower as the years went by. It ended in 1978 with 255 horsepower. Well, I want to thank y'all for watching. I really appreciate all the likes and the comments and the subscribers. I really appreciate it. I never thought that my channel would start taking off, but I'm gonna try my best and keep learning, and I'm gonna keep making videos for y'all. Tomorrow morning, we're gonna be taking Lonnie to the Mopar show at our local transportation museum. So I can't wait to make that video for everybody to see the cool stuff. So I really appreciate it. Keep liking, keep subscribing, and keep commenting. Stay tuned for more Only Dodge Garage. Thank you.